Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our CollectHer video podcast. We're here today with CJ Breen from Leaf. CJ is the Director of Marketing and Licensing, and we're going to ask some questions about Leaf Metal Women of Sport, a product that Anne-Marie and I both enjoy, and we're going to also rip on this show today. So take it
Yeah,
away.
we've opened a bunch of this product. I'm a complete nerd for this product, so I'm excited. Thank you, CJ, for being here so that we could join the nerd fun. I guess like just to get started, like take us through a little bit about how this product was brainstormed and how you went about producing it and why I know it was such a priority for you and Leaf to produce a product like this.
I think one of the first things when I got into the trading card, industry was the underserved market of women on trading cards. And being someone that is always looking for innovative, unique ways to collect cards, and with women being one of the most underserved market, like you're seeing Nike now. They have the Paige Becker drops. They have the Juju Watkins just announced she's with Nike. Everyone wants to be involved in women's sports, and how their trading cards weren't being to the forefront like they are now. It's kind of an idea that, stemmed from some of the online exclusives we started to do. We saw the success and we're like, we need to make a product dedicated to women. And it's far too long. Like WNBA Prism, when it first came out, exploded. The Sabrina Ionescu's were going crazy money during the pandemic. And that kind of just showed, kind of like led the way to this product. Why not have a multi-sport product of all the best female athletes in the world all in one collective product? So it's kind of been a year in the making, but it's been a lot of fun. And like for you guys to say you like the product, it means a lot to us because all the hard work, the deals that go behind the scenes. Yeah, so it's pretty rewarding to hear that.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, generally, like I have always been like kind of on like the cusp of like liking or not liking unlicensed product. But look, the licenses are at many different companies for a lot of these athletes and their exclusives, and like this product couldn't be made anywhere else, honestly, but you guys. So I kind of want to know what the process is of securing the let me ask again because we'll edit that out. I kind of want to know what the process is of securing the athletes, their images, their autographs for a non-licensed product.
Yeah, so it's kind of a multi-factor answer in this one. So a lot of it's done through agents, and then a lot of it's done through some of these lesser known sports like lacrosse, women's soccer, and at the collegiate level, field hockey, and so on and so forth. Those are more identifying, stars, like doing research on who's hot in the sport, who is, redefining their sport, who is, you know, one of the leaders on their stats. So like when you go, not everyone watches women's soccer, but see who's having the best games, who's having a great season, what schools are collectible. Like for example, University of Michigan athletes going to be more collectible than a North Texas athlete just because of the fan base, bigger school, bigger alumni base. So trying to figure out who would be more collectible. And a lot of the times it's, done through agencies like the CA, the Wassermans. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but those are a lot of people that rep these players for their contracts, their marketing. So it's either reaching out to the player directly or the agent, which I brokered all these deals. So it was a 6, 7 month battle figuring out who we wanted, and in negotiating those deals and what those look like. And then as far as photography goes, a lot of the time the athlete themselves provides us the photos,
Mhm.
or they give us a guide on what they're allowing us to use. So that's kind of how we came to be on that. But it was a lot of hard work, homework on who we wanted to include. Like for me, it was important to include the broadcasters that typically don't have trading cards. Like I got to know Rachel Nichols very well. She's an awesome person. Like to see her actually enjoy being on a trading card. Most of these people, like you don't think about it, they actually think trading cards are really cool. So seeing their reaction to that, seeing them and them reaching out to me saying like this is a super cool experience, but I want to share this with my friends and family. Like how how do I even collect cards? This is the first time some of these people are being introduced to cards. So now, like, you have these celebrities and athletes now taking interest into cards, which I think was super cool from this product being created.
Ty, you said something about like, I've made the argument for a while that I think women collectors are particularly open to unlicensed products because we haven't had enough we just we haven't been able to be picky, right? But I think, one thing you said, like only Leaf could have done this. I think about like a lot of people are super excited about Paige Becker's cards, which I totally get. But I was the nerd that was like, Libby Riddles finally has a card. Like, total badass. Like, that the just diversity of offerings here only Leaf could do because it's unlicensed. CJ, do you see being unlicensed maybe as actually being a advantage when creating and putting out products at this point?
Of course, I think it's a huge advantage to doing something like this because you're not bound by the league. Like you can do a Libby Riddles, you can with a pairing with Alyssa Peely, who's also, Alaska legend. Um, so doing the cool, unique duels, like you see it in our multi-sport, like you before, like you could never put Shohei Ohtani and Messi on the same card. So doing the cool, creative college, theme cards, the state theme cards, it's such an advantage. And you mentioned Libby Riddles, like that one took me 5, 6 months to even get a hold of her because she very rarely uses social media. And she was like, I need to have a phone call with you. Like, we need to talk about what is it? Like, what am I signing? Like, I don't understand it. So a lot of these people like explain to them like how cool it is to have a card, cements your legacy. Um, and you mentioned like only Leaf could do something like this. And you see it with other sports like football with the exclusives kind of hurting the trading card industry. I hate I hate exclusives because I
Oh,
feel
so do I.
that it hurts the end consumer. Like let everyone pick and choose what they want to collect. So being landscape alike or exclusives, like we've signed Toby Fournier to an exclusive. We've signed the number 126 high school basketball girl to exclusive, the 1-1 in the country. So we've really delved into that an exclusive side of things. You see with our football, I think we have in the 2026 high school football class, the top 15 quarterbacks, 1 through 15 signed exclusive. So like you've really seen kind of the shift, like it's exclusive or kind of bust situation in trading cards. So you're like, if you don't like Leaf, but this is your favorite player, now this is the only way you can collect it. Same thing with Fanatics and Panini. Like if you're a Bo Nix fan, like the only way you can get Bo Nix is in, Fanatics products or Panini products. So as a as a manufacturer, it's a necessary evil, but as a collector, like we wish everyone could just, be in everyone's products and you can pick and choose what you like.
I'm with you. I think it hurts. I know you just went off that you guys had a bunch of exclusives, but I do think that exclusive autograph deals specifically hurt trading cards because now you're coming out with a bunch of Panini licensed products with, the Jaden Daniels of the world missing from signing, that just hurts the collector in my opinion. But
Most definitely, we were very thankful that Jaden Daniels signed his deal with us, allowing us to use his likeness and have autographs for us for this year and next year. So, um, and I think a lot of it's building that relationship
yeah.
with these athletes and allowing us to get autograph deals before they sign an exclusive. So, like I totally hear you, and I wish it wasn't like that because it would make the collectible industry a little bit more fun.
But I mean, look, you guys are getting in on the ground level with a lot of these athletes even before they're on the radar of these other companies, which I think is really great, especially for fans of these athletes. They already have built-in fan bases and it's an entry point, especially with this into women's sports. Like maybe you're gonna find some players that you didn't know about before.
1,000%. And for example, we just went to the Josh Pankow, the president of Leaf, and myself just went to the Notre Dame versus UConn game. And we're like, not only like we were there for a signing, but uh, we're like also looking at other athletes while we're there, almost like a scout would be for the WNBA watching these games. So it's a lot of fun kind of picking and choosing, trying to see who fits our brand. And I would also attest that on the female side of things, that the micro influencer or micro branding has bigger following than some of these big football players. Like if you see some of the single sales on some of these people, they're probably athletes you might not even heard of. They sell for more than some of the, top picks in the NFL draft. So it's really interesting to follow the market on that, but it's been an amazing process.
Well, I think I talk about this in my marketing classes with my actual fake job. I think if you look at like women's college basketball right now, I would argue it's a better spectator product right now with fan interest, with athletes who, when you talk about notable names, when you look at the data on social media followings within Final Fours, it's predominantly led by women. So I think you're probably just really reflecting that.
1000%. Last year's, NCAA tournament, how many men's basketball players could you know? Two, maybe, if you're lucky. But you knew the top, 5 to 10 top women's basketball players last year. So it's very interesting. And we aren't really signing men's basketball players in the NL space, just focused on the women's side of things. So it's really crazy how things have turned. And the resale value for the end consumer, maybe if you're not just a collector, but you are interested in the resale side of things, they outsell men by a lot, especially basketball players. Look what Paige Becker sells for. So she's going to sell for as much as Cooper Flag does when it comes out. So it's interesting to see.
Definitely. So Ty is unfortunately a Angel City fan, and it's something that it, it's a pride point.
Painful, yeah.
She's not proud of it, naturally, being that they're cheers. So she knew Kennedy Fuller was.
I love Kennedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought we both thought it was interesting, the Fuller inclusion on that quad. Can you talk about like how you go about creating those pairings, and like what goes into it?
For me, maybe it was a little bit more selfish because I'm a big Kennedy Fuller fan. Just got to know her family very well.
Huh.
But being one of the top, young soccer players, like if she turns out to be, one of the top players, of a generation, then it makes sense. But look how many insane duels they did with Derek Jeter when, up top prospect in the Yankees organization who turned out to never even make the big leagues. So if she turns out to be,
Than
an
that.
all-timer, that card looks smart. But if not, maybe not so much. But it happens a lot in other sports, but is more or less backing on her being, continued to grow and progress in her development.
I like that. It's like that's really interesting. It's because I was like, what the hell? I know I never realized it. I'm like, okay, a legend, like two at the top of their game, and Kennedy Fuller. Like,
Yeah.
but
But we
I'm a
also
Kennedy Fuller fan too, so I get it, and I think that's great. Like, and that's a great shot. Like, if it works out and she ends up being, of that caliber, that card down the road becomes like really interesting to chase. I think that's cool.
most
Yeah.
definitely, I would also say a lot of times we ask our players who they want to be paired up with.
Oh,
Okay.
So like we just did a signing with Hannah Higlo from Notre Dame, and we're like, well, who do you want to be paired up with? She was like, well, here's an example of a card it's gonna release, but on card.
Nice.
Um, and she actually signed her full signature, which was nice. If on her stickers, she tends not to sign the full sig. But we're like, oh, like, do you want to be paired up with like Ronnie Leonard? And she's like, who's that? And we're like, the Notre Dame starting quarterback. And it's funny because Josh and I were sitting down at dinner, and Riley Leonard comes by because we do a lot of deals with him. He's like, oh, hey Josh, like good to see you, this and that. And he's like, oh, like were you here to see Hannah play? And like he obviously knows who she is, but she had no idea who he was, which is funny, like to see like what 20 years ago, like maybe like times to be had changed, but like it's hilarious. And she was just naming off some like Notre Dame legends that had come before her, but like she's like, who? So it was pretty cool to see. But we love asking players who they'd like to be paired up with. It's always a fun thing of us, and it keeps the signing interesting. A lot of times these players are exhausted by the end of the day, and getting them to talk a little bit and open up a little bit more is sometimes challenging, but to make things fun for them is, always great for us.
I know one thing Ty and I have sort of talked about, and I get some of these questions, is if one of ones being the grail for a lot of collectors, and not just with this product, but Leaf in general has a propensity of putting in a lot of different one of ones. So I think like Alex Morgan's single autos, there's like 169 maybe of them, if I counted wrong. Can you talk a little bit about how that changes the uh I guess the scarcity proposition of what one of one means, if there are if there, I know one of the cases that I broke, like there were 43% of the case was a one of one. Like, how do you balance that? Because that is something that is somewhat unique to Leaf.
Most definitely. I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Um, we have like, for example, like if you are an avid Leaf fan, like we have a whole product signature series, which is all one of ones. So I would say that it's a either not can't it's a can't win situation when it comes to this, because as a collector, like if you pull a out of 199 Leaf autograph, would you be upset, or would you rather have more one of ones and different parallels, for example? Um, and I think that this adds to the factor for the first, if you're opening Leaf for the first time, I think it's a better opening experience when it comes to that. For me, like the true one of one would be the super gold circles. Um, I think that would always carries the most valuable in our products. And if you look for comps, and then like the red flood, super, those are the two one of ones that stand out as being the most valuable in the product. Traditionally, obviously, the market dictates that with what they buy and resell. But from what we've seen, those are the two that stand out as the true one of ones. Um, as far as resale value goes, but I can definitely see what you're saying. But at the end of the day, I feel that is a better opening experience for the end consumer. Um, but if you are familiar more with Leaf, like we have the one of one product. It's like it's what you come to expect from Leaf. And if we changed it, I feel that people are like, well, where are all the one of ones at now? So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
double-edged sword, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
I know one thing that I've been sort of interested in is that idea of what one of ones matter more. And I know for me it was the question of like, is it like the super prismatic gold, or if you're looking at like in the women's sport product, like the like college colors, right? Or the color set, for me, is it a color match? Like for me,
Yeah.
like the Genie bus, like I have like the one of one auto, but it's purple and yellow. So for me, that's like the color match, or the like Page Mule blue, which to me would be like a Yukon color match. So it's fun to like see where people stand on that. I think you're right. I think if you switch it up, you'd have a big group saying, well, this isn't Leaf, right? So I think it is an area where Leaf is like distinctive in that way. So I really appreciate your perspective on that.
And I'm also the same way. Like for like Rachel Luba, who's a friend who I collect her cards,
Mhm.
she wrote some of hers in red ink. And if it's like a red parallel with a red ink, I'm like, okay, like I'd rather have that than like
Right.
just a normal one of one.
I think this is a really good segue into opening this box.
I think we should definitely open the box.
Okay.
I think we should.
This is the box you said we're opening, so.
We picked the left side. We always pick the left side. So CJ, I've got to say, this is not me advocating my opinion, but really me advocating what tons of people have said. If you ask people of my generation, and maybe Ty's pretty old too, the most iconic basketball movie would be Love and Basketball. How is Leaf not, when are we going to get a Love and Basketball dual, triple? It's printing money. I'm advocating. I can't be the only one saying this to you.
You know what? I'll have to talk to Greg. So I helped design this product, but Greg is usually the person behind all our other products, and
Mhm.
I'll make sure we make something happen for you. Because I know you
It is.
sent.
It's not for me. It's for the community that we all serve.
Sure.
It would be like printing money. It would be like mugging me, essentially mugging me on air.
That sounds so fun. All right.
All right, Ty. Let's see what's. Oh, classic.
Can you pronounce this for me? So
And it's a
Monet Rayon.
Marion.
thank you. That's a 25.
There you go. Beautiful silver there. We like that.
We got Lyric Swan. Nice. To 20.
North Florida. She also has a really big social following.
Mm-hmm.
We got Lily Fenton.
Notre Dame.
3 of
Yep.
4. I haven't watched that much this year. We got Katie Moore. I think I have multiple Katie Moores now.
I think Anne Marie also pulled a lot of
I
Katie
pulled a
Moore.
lot of
I
Katie
think
Moore.
you pulled
Yeah.
one for me.
I pulled a Katie Moore, I think for yes, Katie, I've seen more Katie Moore than I have of my mother in years. So like, yeah, Katie and I go way back.
Yeah.
I have a Katie PC.
We have Aaron Matson.
Aaron Matson,
Nice.
legend, new legend of coaching.
Yep.
I love the coaching autos too. I love the coaching duels and quads. I think
Coaching
focusing
and
on the
broadcast,
coaching
yeah.
and the media are great.
Yeah, it's nice to include that.
This girl next up sells very well. Her and her Kansas State teammates sell very well.
Nope. Goddamn. All right. I'm doing a great job. I clearly do this professionally. We have Serena Sundell.
Yep.
1 of 1.
1 of 1.
Nice. Very nice.
That is nice. I know a couple of people that collect Serena. I sent a lot of proof Serenas to people for free who collect her. They're very excited. So
She has a great autograph too. It's always nice when they have a good autograph.
I don't know if I ruined this already, but it's a multi auto.
you always remember these were not staged.
Ah,
Oh, come on.
we were just talking about
People
it.
are gonna think this is staged.
It's only if it's
You
Kennedy
picked
Fuller.
the box, dude.
I know, but this is the second time. That is the last soccer quad I need. This happens all the time on this. We're not doing this again.
This is gonna go in the mail to Boston right now today.
Yeah, well, we gotta trade, but that is the one soccer card, the quad I still need. We're not doing this anymore, Ty. I'm not doing this anymore.
Damn, Chastain, Curry, and Joy Fawcett.
We're not opening boxes up. I almost said in the beginning, there's only one card I need of the set. Don't pull it.
Oh my god, Joy Fawcett is like one of the nicest people on the planet.
She is insanely nice. Yes.
The whole team is so nice.
I mean, they're all nice. Joy Fawcett just for some reason always stands out as being like one of the nicest humans. I don't know. They're all great. They're all great. The 99ers, every time we crush when we do this.
We got to stop doing it. People are gonna think it's staged. The product is loaded though. I mean, I think people were really kind of surprised at how loaded the product was.
Like
very popular.
Tons of multis. But we also have to think like how many Paige Beckers are on this product is insane. How many autographs she has in this? How many Cameron Brink is in this product? Like all those and the legend soccer players are in there. Like there's a lot of upside on these players, and then also it's prospecting too on a lot of these people if they ever blow up. So,
and I think for the price point, it's like so worth it to like. I mean, you know, even if resale value on some of the 1 of 1s that aren't as popular is not as high, I think for the spend on the product, like it's a good return if that's your goal with it. I mean, our goal mostly is collecting and, you know.
Right.
So
well, and Leaf did something that I think a lot of people in the hobby have been critical about that those with licensing haven't done, which was pair rookies with vets. You finally have a Subird, page. You have, cards with legends, a Cheryl Miller, Lisa Leslie card. Like
those are undervalued, by the way.
Oh, I know, but I've taken advantage of that undervalue. Don't talk. Don't.
I was shocked.
I get mad at her every time she's like, this player's undervalued. I'm like, don't tell them.
Tell them. Don't tell Jay. You should see what I'm getting on eBay for that. Like, but we haven't had those. Women collect. It's the most obvious kind of cards to make, and yet those with licensing haven't done them. They just haven't done them. So yeah, absolutely. That's a very expensive card on the secondary market, though. Very expensive. Nobody should look.
Yeah, my bad. I misspoke.
I have a question, CJ, and we can cut this out, and it might be before your time at Leaf. But
Okay.
how many cards
Oh my
have
gosh.
images? I have to ask. Are you gonna get mad at me?
No, you can ask.
I
I
don't
put
have
my
the
love.
card.
I no.
I
I
actually
put my
own
love
one.
in basket. I put my love in
Okay.
basketball request in.
Okay.
I did not know this was a thing until Ty explained it. Go ahead.
Okay.
No,
So
no judgment.
there is a Daisy Ridley card
Okay.
from like her first time she signed with you guys. And the picture isn't of her, it's of her Madame Tussauds wax figure on the cards, both on the autographs and on the non-autograph card. Has there been other times where wax figures have been used in Leaf cards? And did you know about this before this moment?
I honestly I haven't. I'd love you to show me the card because I have no idea what it looks like, but I'm assuming it looks ridiculous. But no, I have no idea. And I assumed that'd be the only time, but yeah, definitely before I was there, more like before I was there for sure.
I just love that we were brainstorming questions, and I was like, like, what is your like thing that's burning? And you're like, Madame Tussauds, and I'm like,
Oh, I
what
own
are
one
you
of the cards.
talking about?
I from the National because I saw it and I'm like, oh my God, that's the wax figure. But look, Madame Tussauds, the wax figures are very realistic. And I
Oh,
assume it was like gotten from Getty Images because there's like a lot of red carpet photos for the
Panini
prop
can't even
art.
put the right person on a card. So Madame Tussauds, I don't know why we
I
would be
mean,
critiquing
it's
it.
very realistic. And
Christy
yes, they do.
Tolliver would have preferred a Christy Tolliver Madame Tussauds over Sydney Weiss's
That's
on her Panini card. So like,
I agree.
I think
Players are put on cards. It happens more often, I think, than people would like. But I was just curious if you knew about it or
No, it's the first time me hearing about it. What do you know what year it was from the card? Or
I'll email you.
yeah, please do.
I wanted to find it to bring it on but I have too many. I have like 10,000 cards that are not in any particular order sitting in my office right now. So, um, but yeah, I was just curious about that. Obviously, all the photography in this is of the athletes. And I was just curious about that
Most
particular.
definitely. No, I'm glad you
Yeah.
asked, but no, I'd love
Pop
to see it.
Century can be hard. And I have some suspicion about other Pop Century cards, but not confirmed. So
Mm.
Ty has a lot of time on her hands,
I
but
don't.
clearly she's a fan if she's scheming about Pop Century.
I love Pop Century too, because I'm kind of like a pop culture, geek and movie geek too. So
So
A lot of
CJ,
that
what can you give us a little bit of a hint? Any besides, the Hidalgo coming out, any like cool little hints? Is this the start of other, maybe a women in sport too? Like what's percolating over there in the Leaf brain?
definitely can confirm a series two or our part two is going to come out middle of summer is what we're aiming for. So if you have any suggestions on athletes we missed out on this first time or a must need, we're always open to suggestions. Would love to hear feedback on who we need and themes always welcomed because, if it's not for you two or the hobby in general, we wouldn't be here. So your feedback is much appreciated.
Cool. This was so fun.
oh, it was so fun. We hit a
So
big
fun.
chord.
Thanks.
We got our questions answered. People are learning about Leaf and your process. And CJ, thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on with
so
us.
much for coming in.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Continue to crush it on social media and inspiring other people to collect. So it's very awesome to see and very thankful for you both.
We're
Thanks,
thankful
CJ.
for you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great one.
You too.